In this video, I will be showing you how to create a sample of random points along streets using QGIS. This is one way of creating a simple random sample of households for a questionnaire survey. Your interviewers will travel to each point and select the closest doorway to interview. In this video, we will be using the same QGIS project that was created for calculating the total street length within a boundary. So we are following on from this video. I'll put a link to this first video in the description below. This means I am assuming you have already downloaded QGIS and opened a project, added a boundary to your project, added a road layer, and then clipped that road layer so that you have a shapefile for the roads within your boundary. It's this clipped set of roads that we will be using in the next steps. Okay, let's get started. So here we are back in our QGIS project, and here is our Prizren town and the roads within. So the simple way to add random points is that you go to Vector and you go Research Tools, and you do Random Points in Polygon. And you insert your polygon layer. We're going to insert Prizren town, and then you can add the number of points for each features. Now, if you're aiming for 400 households, know that some of the points won't work out. So maybe add in 600 points. That means that for at least a third of these, if the point's no good, if it's in an area where there are no households, for example, they can move to the next point. So you want some spare points. So I put 600 in there. Run, and then close this. So here you go. We have a set of 600 random points. But note that these points land in unhelpful places, middle of nowhere and so on. So we're going to actually create a different set of points. So let's untick that one. And this time we're going to create points along streets, because households are always associated with streets. So this time we're going to go to Vector, Geoprocessing Tools, and we're going to choose Buffer. And we're going to choose our roads in Prizren, and we're going to create a buffer of 10 meters either side. Click Run, close that, and now you can see we have this buffer. Now if I just drag and drop the roads above the buffer, you can see the roads in the middle. Now you can see that these buffers are odd shapes. We actually need them to join up so it can be one continuous polygon, and then we can put our points within the polygon. So the next thing that we need to do is, again, we go Vector and we go Geoprocessing Tools, and this time we choose Dissolve. And the thing that we want to dissolve is our buffered layer. So we click Run, and then we can close. Let's untick Buffered, and now you can see the dissolved area. So now we have a polygon that's created by buffering around the outside of all of these roads. So now let's do our points again. So this time we're going to go to Vector, Research Tools, Random Points in Polygons. That is the correct polygon, dissolved. We're going to choose 600 points, random points. But this time I'm actually going to add something here. I'm going to add a minimum distance between points. Because if we just do 600 random points, by chance, some of these points will end up sat on top of each other, which we don't want. We want to make sure there's a decent space between them. So I'm going to put a minimum of 20 meters between each point. Click Run, close, and now we can see all of our points. All of these points are all across the town, at least 20 meters between, completely random where they've landed, and there's 600 of them. Okay. So what our interviewers can do is go to each of these points, choose the closest household to interview. But how are they going to get there? So now we're going to create some Google Map links for each one of these points. So we're going to go to Layer. We're going to say Save As. We're going to keep them as a shapefile. And the file name, we can just say 600 random points along streets. Click Save. Now this time we don't want a UTM zone. We actually want to go back to the original, just WGS 84. That means that our CRS is then in lat longs, not in meters. And click OK. OK, now we have our 600 random points along a street, and they are in the correct CRS in order to establish the lat long, the GPS information for each point. But now we actually have to add that lat long information to the file. So we're going to go up here to Processing, open up Toolbox, and this opens up a huge menu of additional tools you can use in QGIS. Now we're going to open up the vector table tool list, and we're going to choose this particular tool that's called Add XY Fields to Layer. We double click that. We add in our 600 random points along streets as the input layer. We click Run and Close. Now, if we have a quick look at this by opening up the attribute table, we see all of our random points here. And if we go all the way along to the right, then we see the X and the Y coordinates. So that looks good. But now we need to export this file so we can use it to create Google Map links. So I close here, go to Layer, Save As. Now, usually when we open up Save As, it would open as Esri shapefile because that's the format type we've used previously. But we're going to click this down arrow and we're going to choose comma separated values, CSV. Click that. Now let's save, give it a file name. So how about 600? Oh, here you go. We can pick up the name from previously. So 600 random points along streets plus lat longs. And you see that the type is a CSV file, and we click Save. Now we don't need all of the information from within this file. So actually I'm going to untick some of these. We would like our random point numbers. I suggest maybe keeping type in. Let's see if it gives us the road type on which the point is situated. We can take out one way, bridge, max speed, but we're going to leave in obviously the X and Y. These are our coordinates. Now we don't need to add this CSV file to our map, so we untick, click OK. Right, so now our layer has been exported. That CSV file has been exported to our folder. So now what we need to do is open up that CSV file in Excel, and we can turn those lat longs into a Google Map link. So here we are, opened up Excel, opened up the CSV file that we've just created in Excel, and we can see the random points here all the way from 0 through to 599. We can also see the type, and this was supposed to be street type, but actually it's indicated that they're all residential, which I know is not correct. So this type unfortunately did not work very well, but we do still have the X and Y coordinates. So now we're going to create a Google Map link for each and every point. So we type in this cell equals concat, and this allows us to add a string together. The first piece of text we're going to create is the foundation for all Google Map links. It's this particular piece of text. I will put that in the description below. So we put that as the first text. The second text is the Y coordinate. Definitely put Y first, not X. Then comma again. Then we're going to use some quotation marks, put in a comma in between, then a comma again, and X, and then close brackets and click enter. And this is now a Google Map link. And you can simply double click that and you get a Google Map link for every single point. So let me show you how I would share these map links with the interviewers. So the first thing I would do is just hide these columns because you don't need to send these. I would highlight random point 1, hold down the shift key and highlight the Google Map link that is associated with random point 1. I would then do Control C to copy. I'd then open up WhatsApp. I'm going to send this to myself. Control V to paste, and then click Enter. Now let's look at how that behaves on my phone. So here I now am on my phone, and I'm going to click that Google Map link that I just sent to myself on WhatsApp. And you'll see that it immediately finds the location within Prizren. So if I was in the town, I could then click directions and it would give me directions in Google Maps to that very point, and then I could select the closest household to that point to interview. And that's it. That's how you create a set of random points using QGIS and Google Map links for each point that will help your interviewers to navigate to each point and select the closest household to that point for interview, hence creating a random sample of respondents. Thanks for watching.